Should you build Lumen? Short answer, yes. Long answer, this entire video.
あなたがそのドクターですか。はじめまして。僕のコードネームはルーメンと言います。これからはロドスの一員として、たとえ小さな光しか出せなくても、僕の持てる全ての力を尽くしましょう。
Jordi Fontanarrosa, codename Lumen, is a 6-star therapist medic from Iberia. An ordinary person, who plays a big part in reactivating the last eye of Iberia, and locating the golden dreadnought Stultifera Navis. After the events in Gran Faro and Stultifera Navis, Lumen is invited to join the Inquisition by Saint Carmen and become his disciple, becoming the first Adir to ever join the ranks of the Inquisition. Now becomes a Rhodes Island operator under Calci and Elysium recommendation, helping render medical aid to the infected in Iberia's territory, and offering his suggestions in a joint meeting between Rhodes Island, Adir and the Inquisition. My bro Jordi Fontanarrosa is the free operator in Stultifera Navis event and also the first 6-star therapist. Although Wandering Medic is more useful in his debut event, but since the elemental damage that exists in his debut event can inflict stun, he's also a very useful unit in his first debut event Stultifera Navis. Keep in mind while Stultifera Navis event stages will be always available, but you can only obtain exclusive rewards, that's including Lumen, in the debut or a run of the event. So make sure to get him, and if you do, will he offer a useful utility to your team? Let's find out. As a therapist, Lumen has a wider range than regular single target medic, but his healing will be reduced by 20% if healing allies on the edge of his range. And while it's not mentioned on their tray, but this medic archetype was made to counter negative status. The most common negative statuses are cold, frozen and stun. Some other negative statuses are not specific, like Tallulah's burning effect. As for his general stats, Lumen got a pretty high attack stat for a single target medic. But keep in mind he will only heal allied units by 80% of his attack at the farther tile. Although it's still higher than all current Wandering Medic. And he has the best stats among other therapists. Although since he's a free unit, his DP cost and redeployment time are slightly higher. Now let's see his talents. His first talent. Basically a better version of pure stream talent, where every target that Lumen heals will receive status resistance for a few seconds, and extends the duration if he heals allied units with more than 75% HP. Simple but effective to keep those negative statuses in check, as every heal from Lumen whether normal attack or skills can give status resistance. Now for his second talent. When an ally within range receives a negative status, Lumen will immediately heal them for 80% of his attack. There will be a floating fish effect around Lumen indicating this talent is ready to use. This is a great talent that lets Lumen to better control negative status, especially since this healing is a separated healing from his regular heal. As soon as an allied unit received negative status, Lumen will immediately heal the ally, and with the use of his talent 1, that ally will not only receive heal but also status resistance. But sadly this talent can only work for the normal operator in that who are damaged. So if the target is someone like a Juggernaut or summoned unit, he can't give them status resistance. Same thing to a normal operator who is in full health. And this is the list of his potential. His potentials are available in the event shop. And I suggest you get them as soon as you grab enough other items from the shop. Not to mention when Stultifera Navis get a run, his potential will be on sale again, and you will get a lot of yellow tickets. Now moving to his module. Lumen's first module that is released during his debut is the X module. That will reduce his taunt level, and give him permanent status resistance. The level 1 effect of this module is nothing extraordinary, but it's nice. Being a vulnerable ranged unit and a healer. With this module Lumen will almost certainly safe from any ranged attack, as every enemy will now prioritize anyone within their range except Lumen. And this also come with a permanent status resistance. Considering he's the one who can help others fight negative status, it's not funny if he actually gets the negative status himself. So overall this is a good module to unlock. As for the module upgrade though, it will enhance his first talent, as it only increases his status resistance duration for a few seconds. I don't recommend you upgrade his module. Normally if it's only one target he can apply the status resistance again before the status resistance gone. Or at least only leaving the target for a short time without status resistance. And considering his skills 2 and 3 that can instantly remove negative status. Also not to mention the expensive cost of a 6-star module upgrade. You can skip upgrading his module. Now let's see his skills. His first skill. On his next heal, Lumen will heal a target, and gives the target and surrounding allies an AoE heal every second for a few seconds. A great starting skill with consistent healing and AoE heal capability. The number of the AoE heal is decent, and it can also give allies a status resistance. And sometimes it can heal allied units outside of his range, if he targets an ally that far on the edge of his tiles. All in all, this is a great starting skill. And before unlocking his skill 3, I sometimes prefer this one over his skill 2. Although if you already built a multi-target medic, you might want them to take care of anything relating to multi-heal or AoE heal. While Lumen will focus on what he's good at, and that is removing negative status. As for his second skill, give a burst heal up to 3 targets with a pretty big number. It has a charged effect that will instantly remove negative status. Although this kind of burst skill is generally unnecessary for a healer. Consistent healing skill like Ashura S2 is way more preferable for a medic. But this is the first skill that can instantly removes negative status. This is a good skill especially if you know the timing of when to use it. And although he only instant remove negative status with a charged effect, thanks to his talent 1, his uncharged skill effect can also counter negative status. So if it's not a long lasting or not a very dangerous effect like cold, you probably don't have to wait for this skill to be charged. Last but not least, his third skill. An ammo skill that makes Lumen increase his attack and attack speed. His heal will now also prioritize allied units with a negative status. And the heal amount will be increased if healing an ally with a negative status. And can instantly remove negative status with this skill and consume 1 ammo. But while it's an ammo skill, Lumen will only consume his ammo if he heals an ally with negative status. So this is pretty much an infinite duration skill as long as there's no negative status. Overall this is his best skill to use, giving him an increased heal and attack speed for a more consistent healing and negative status counter, making him into an awesome single target healer. Also, keep in mind his talent 2 can't instantly remove negative status, like his normal attack did during this skill. But his talent 2 still gains benefits from the increased attack. Overall this is his best skill for normal healing and countering negative status. But since the ammo quantity is low even at M3, and this skill has a pretty big SP cost, if fighting in a stage where negative status is rampant like in Chapter 6, you might get troubled. But you can worry less because his normal attack can still give status resistance. For skill mastery priority, go for his skill 3. It's his best consistent healing skill and to counter negative status. And you might find usefulness in his skill 2. If you do, you can at least M1 the skill to increase the target number from 2 to 3. As for his base skill, being a caregiver and all, he will increase the moral restoration of all operators in Dorm, and increase the amount for every 1 power plant. So, will Lumen become a good operator for your team? Lumen is currently the best therapist medic the game has to offer. Literally removing negative status with a single heal. And also a great single target medic. For a newbie, he's certainly useful. Especially for you who are currently fighting Chapter 6. Although being a 6-star and his best skill is at skill 3, he's not a cheap operator to raise. Thankfully his E1 abilities are already useful. But for newbie it's better to E2 regular single target and multi-target medic first. Someone likes a Shuro or Timelapse. That should be all. Remember, peace is always an option. Adios.